welcome to Why We Media. Aaron, you didn't know that was the name of our show, did you?
Yeah, the first episode, it looked like that was just the title of the episode. I didn't know that was the title of the whole podcast.
That's right.
I'm digging it.
Blurman Gus, and this is Aaron.
Aaron T.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Why We Media. Anything interesting? Any new movies you watch?
I tried to get into, because Good Burger 2 just came out.
Did you try to watch it?
I tried to watch it.
It's on Paramount?
Yeah, it was, I found it unwatchable. I turned it off after like the first 15, 20 minutes. It didn't, I was expecting it to be, you know, it's obviously a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
So you would think that it would have either aged the movie up to, like, you know, age with its audience, but it didn't. Or at least keep it enough so that, you know, parents who remember it want to take their kids to go see it, to see, you know, if the next generation will enjoy it. You still want to keep it interesting for parents as well. And I found like they didn't hit. It was very juvenile Nickelodeon in a way that I thought it would be. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't it. I couldn't watch it.
What's it rated? G?
It felt like it.
I mean, what do you think? Audience gave it a 69. Do you agree?
No. I mean, because I never finished it, I don't think that's a fair thing to say. It could have gotten better, but it just...
Well, the critics gave it a 59. Do you agree with that?
I'd go lower. It was dumb, dude. It was Dumb and Dumber 2 type of... Like, it didn't... You know how they, you know, Dumb and Dumber, great movie.
Yeah.
And then they bring Jim Carrey and Jeff Bridges back all these years later to do it again, and it just wasn't the same. Trying to rehash old jokes, and it, you know...
Lori Beth was in it. She was in Nickelodeon's All That.
Yeah, Lori Beth Thunberg. They brought a lot of the original cast back.
Carmen Electra was in it again?
Yeah.
Did she look... Oh, did you even get that
I didn't get that far.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to give it a no.
Yeah, that's a pass for me.
It's going to be a no for me, dog.
I saw that another trailer came out for the Willy Wonka prequel.
Oh, God, I saw it, too. Oh, my God. They really incorporate a lot of the
Oompa
Loompas,
Yeah.
obviously, because the main Oompa Loompa guy is that one
Very
actor.
famous.
Yeah, what's his name?
It's not Jude Law, but it's that other guy.
He's like British.
Yeah, he was in that Drew Barrymore one. What is it? Yeah,
It's supposed to come out this year? Yeah, Hugh Grant.
Grant.
Obviously.
Ladies,
we forgot the name Hugh Grant.
Ladies love Hugh Grant.
We should just quit this show. We don't even
Why do we meet him?
Hey, Rowan Atkinson's in it, though.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah, Mr. Bean's in it.
I liked him in
Is it already
Rat
out?
Race.
It says it releases the 15th in USA.
Yeah, so next week.
Because there's already Rotten Tomatoes scores for it. Oh, that's probably just the critics. Yeah,
Probably any early releases.
yeah, just the critics. And they gave it an 85 strong one. Like I said, they're promoting or pushing a lot of the Oompa Loompa story. Which, like, even if you go to the other ones, they were just workers. Like, they didn't even, like, have a storyline, really.
Well, it's weird that it went under the radar when, you know, Snow White's getting in trouble and they want to use, you know, proper little people or whatever. And like, why not hire little people for this role? And then Oompa Loompas, like, we're just going to CGI a regular height Hugh Grant and turn him into a smaller version of himself. And no one seems to be batting. I don't want to see a Wonka origin story. I don't think it's that interesting.
Here's a quote from Hugh Grant. In a recent press conference, the famously... I'm not even going to say that word. Actor said that he had a terrible time making Wonka. I couldn't have hated the whole thing more. Oompa Loompa doopity downer. Hugh Grant apparently did not have a jolly time. And from what I've read too, he said he only did that because he said he had like 8 kids and he needs money.
Right.
So it's just like, okay, yeah, I get it. You're an actor. You're going to do actor things, but it's like, why would you do a movie you don't even want or believe in or like care for? It's so weird.
People take roles for the money, but also a lot of times they want to be in a film that their kids are going to be able to watch. You know, like Bill Burr in Leo is like, you know, I'm in a kid's film now, and my kids saw it.
You don't think he liked doing Leo, though?
I think he enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think he did enjoy it.
It's, you know, he makes a lot of adult stuff, so a lot of times actors want to be in, take their kids to a movie that I'm in as well.
Well, that's what Ice Cube said also about when because he did.
Are we there yet?
Yeah, are we there yet? And stuff like that. Because he said kids would come up quote to him Friday all the time. And he's like, well, let's try to make one for the kids so they can just quote those instead of like, damn, you just got knocked the fuck out, you know?
Right.
So,
but yeah, Bill Burr actually in an interview was talking about how he did go see it with his kids, or I guess it's on Netflix, so they saw it that way.
Right. Yeah.
The daughter had all these questions about like, you know, how did you do that voice? He's like, I'm just talking. That's my normal voice.
Yeah, your voice does sound different recording.
Well, especially when you've seen it through the face of a turtle, it looks
right. Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, so the Wonka prequel, I'm not excited about. I'll probably check it out because I watch everything, but I don't want to. Nobody asked for this movie to get made.
Nobody did. Well, then I feel like all the movies coming out and the last movies in the last year, nobody asked for. Like nobody wanted them, but they were like, here we go. Like it's kind of like we're at a weird turning point in Hollywood right now because obviously people aren't going to watch those stuff.
One of the things no one asked for that's getting made is, did you ever play the video game Fallout?
Of course, yeah.
They're making a series out of that, I believe, or I think it's a show. I think it's going to be a series, and everyone got excited. People that play the game. I've never played it, but I know it's wildly popular. But then I heard that they got the showrunners from the Marvels to come over and like try and write and produce that show. So now people are afraid it's going to be woke and too heavy on the message and not enough on, following what the games were actually about. I mean, video games can be great. I mean, you saw The Last of Us. That was a terrific job.
I think it did a well job received by the audience, but I don't think, like, if you were into the video game, say, I don't think you're a big fan of that show. Like I said, I think the people liked it because it was an entertaining show.
Right.
But not because they played the video game and then they liked the show. It's like Resident Evil. I'm sure especially toward the end of the series, it was just people watching. They just wanted to watch that character kill a bunch of zombies.
Right, Mila Jovovich as Alice doing all that.
But if you actually pplayed the video games, you're like, this has nothing to do with it. This is... Or remember, Netflix did a series on, like an animated series on it, too.
They did a live-action revival.
It was terrible.
Movie as well.
It was a movie. Yeah, it was like a movie or something. Yeah.
And they keep trying to do more faithful adaptations of the game, and it keeps flopping. They're just... Yeah, they really can't figure that one out for some reason. You would think it would be pretty easy to do a good zombie horror. But yeah, they can't figure out how to make Resident Evil into... And I don't know if that's the studio interference or if it's just creative differences, the director or the scriptwriter. I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't say.
And then, did you see Doctor Who is being canceled?
Well, yeah. I saw parts because they came out with a new episode, right? And that episode...
I think.
Well, yeah, but it was the premiere of the new season. And so obviously they brought back the old Doctor, which I like him. He was great. He's a good actor.
David Tennant.
Yeah, he was in...
He's everybody's favorite.
Yeah, he was... Yeah.
He was in Jessica Jones. He's in a bunch of stuff.
Jessica Jones.
Very likable guy.
He's a very good actor. But now the two females, the one redhead from The Office towards the end of the series, and then the new one who is a character who identifies as a trans person. So there was that. Obviously the audience, there were some people that didn't like that. Some people did like it, but because he was talking to this like mystical being or whatever, and he said, well, what is he like, or what does he say or whatever, and she was like, the trans character was like, how are you gonna question his pronouns like that? It's like, well, that's a good point. I didn't really think about it that way.
Yeah.
But then later in the show, then he, I guess, identifies as something different too, and yeah. It's just weird to see. Well, I don't know. That show always pushed the boundaries anyway. Have you watched a lot of Doctor Who?
I have not.
I saw maybe 3 or 4 seasons of it with him, obviously. Him as the Doctor. He did a great job, like I said. And there were some great episodes, great directing, but they would always definitely get into social aspects of the world and whatnot.
It was a cultural phenomenon for the longest time, and I never tuned into it. I guess I missed it, and then by then it was too late.
Right. Well, it's a British show, right? So it's more popular in Europe and stuff like that. But
right. But you know how, like Courtney has like a Doctor Who tattoo and everything. Like, people really go nuts for that. And I have an ex that has a tattoo for Doctor Who as well. And it's like, okay, so a lot of, I mean, I don't know if it's skewing female.
They're called Whovians, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, people that like the show. Yeah.
But I hear that, yeah, there's just a lot of backlash over this season, going woke and all of that. I saw a clip of the Doctor getting scolded, you know, by being like, you know, a male presenting, because he's not male or female. He's an alien, right?
Right. He's a Time Lord, yeah. So it's not like he's a human anyway, but he appears as a human.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's one scene where the girl's like, a male presenting Time Lord wouldn't understand.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like,
that scene.
Are you kidding me right now?
They're definitely right.
I saw that one clip and I was like, I understand why people are outraged now. That makes...
Well, it's just supposed to be an entertaining show, you know, and now we're bringing all these social justice concepts in.
Yeah. And that, I mean, if it's more advantageous to be a male presenting Time Lord, then why even have a female presenting Time Lord? Like, why not take all the advantages you could get then?
Yeah.
You know, if it's that hard to be a woman and you can choose not to, then, you know, it's kind of on you at a certain point.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure, like, that show's been going on since, what, the 60s?
60s or 70s.
I'm sure it'll be fine. It might take a hit in numbers and views or whatever, but...
Well, if it's the final season...
They've said that 5 times now, though.
Really?
It was supposed to end 3 Doctors ago.
Well, I hear... I mean, I don't think it's been continuously going since the 70s. Didn't it get canceled for a bit?
It got canceled a couple times, yeah. And I think originally it was just like short series, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't an actual show aspect. Well, until like the late 90s, early 2000s. Then like seasons started dropping.
In England, and the BBC in particular, they tend to make very short 6-episode seasons and then they're done with, you know, like they don't have, you know, like in here where we would have, you know, Roseanne or Home Improvement or something in the 90s that were going like 24 episodes in a season. Over there, yeah, they have very short stories. And it's because they, from what I heard in an interview, I forgot who it was with, but they said that they don't do the residuals the same way. So it makes sense to have Seinfeld go a certain number of episodes so that you can hit syndication. Once you get 100 episodes, you're in syndication. Then you get money for reruns and stuff like that.
That's what that means?
Yeah, and so it's very big deal for a show to hit 100 episodes.
That's why shows make a big deal when they hit.
It's their 100th episode means that you can start paying for reruns and stuff on other networks and stuff. It's called syndication, and they don't have that deal over in the UK. So there's no incentive to have a show going as long as Doctor Who is gone, or, you know, to do that many episodes in a season. So a lot of times you'll see a show like the IT Crowd that goes maybe, you know, 4 or 5 seasons. That's a long time for them over there. And it's only like 8 episodes a season because there's no reason why I keep telling the story. If we're done with it, we're done with it, move on. There's no need to drag, there's no financial incentive to drag it out and beat a dead horse kind of a thing.
Yeah, I didn't even think we'd be talking about... I thought about talking about Doctor Who, but I was like...
Oh, my bad, man. I just wrote down a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah, go on to the next one, dude.
I've been following... Because there's a new Godzilla -1 movie came out.
And I was just going to be like, man, why are we doing... But I was like, if you go back to... Like, I love Godzilla as a kid.
Yeah.
And there's like...
A ton.
Yeah, there's so many movies for it, so it's like it makes sense to keep making movies, but I feel like they're just... Because is it Kong again? Like, why do they keep continuing a Godzilla Kong series? Like, I don't get it.
I don't think Kong is in this one. It's, I mean, they are trying to fill it out kind of like what Marvel did.
Or was it Mothra? I think that was...
They did Mothra in the other one. Because I just watched them last night, preparing to watch -1. So they're doing it in...
No, 3 days ago, Godzilla X Kong.
Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. Okay, so that's a different thing.
That's a different... So they have multiple Godzilla stuff coming out?
So it's all in a shared universe. It's following the Hollow Earth theory, where Kong lives inside the Hollow Earth and Godzilla's up here with us.
Okay.
So they had their own individual storylines. You know, there was Godzilla, I think, in 2014. And then they did Godzilla King of the Monsters, which was still just Godzilla, and it had Mothra in it, and it had Ghidorah, I think is the name, and a couple other ones like that. And
Yeah, so Godzilla -1, that's what's trending right now. What is that? What is it?
And so then Kong came out at Kong Skull Island,
Right.
and that kind of linked them together, where it's just a King Kong movie.
Right.
Then they did Godzilla versus Kong, came out, I guess, 2021.
Is it just because they're both owned by Warner Brothers? Like, why are they introducing
Well, they want a
them?
whole monster verse.
Okay.
Everything's a shared universe now. So then it was Godzilla
You love that,
versus
eh?
King Kong, and then they both had to, put aside their differences once Mecha Godzilla was created to
Right.
fight Godzilla. So then they beat that, and that was the last one. I think that was 2020 or 2021. So then Godzilla -1 is just a standalone Godzilla movie now. And this is, I think, set in World War II, right after the bomb went off that created him, kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
From all the stories, or from all the reviews I've heard, people are saying is this one of the greatest Godzilla movies ever made? I mean, it's amazing. One of the biggest drawbacks to a Godzilla movie is the human story. Everyone just wants to see a monster battle, and they always insist on including humans. But I think that this is one of the best human storylines they've ever included. They said it's like a World War II vet going through PTSD or something like that, and so he's dealing with the effects of the war, or shell shock, I think is what they called it back then. But also, you're still fighting the war because Godzilla's here all of a sudden. And so I'm pretty sure it's set back then, because the show I'm watching, Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, is set, it's kind of, I think Brent nailed it when he called it the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. of Godzilla, where basically it's kind of what the human levels are dealing with while Godzilla's in the background. And they're trying to unravel mysteries and stuff like that regarding the monsters here on Earth. And they call it G-Day when he attacked. And then so it's G-Day plus 5, meaning 5 years afterwards. So Godzilla -1, I'm assuming, is like the year leading up to Godzilla's attack initially. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not sure what it's about. I've heard reviews. They're saying it's amazing. And so it's a standalone Godzilla movie. And then Godzilla and Kong, because they came together at the end of Godzilla vs. Kong to fight Mechagodzilla, then I guess the new kingdom is going to be them, I guess, trying to share the Earth. And I don't know who the antagonist would be in that one then. I don't know who the antagonist would be in Godzilla -1 either.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I mean, like, and it's not to bash Godzilla. It's like, I like Godzilla as a kid. It was
Right.
fun, entertaining, it's just... But back in the day, it was easy to watch a movie and be entertained and not worry about, oh boy, what am I going to end up watching today?
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
Yeah, I didn't feel overly... Like I said, I watched the 2 latest Godzilla movies last night back to back. And
Last night?
yeah. And I didn't feel overly hammered with like any kind of messaging or anything like that.
I watched the last one in theater, I think.
But it's definitely come a long way from like,
There was Bobby Millie Bobby or whatever.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
But because when it first came out in the 50s or whatever, it was meant to be kind of a warning of the dangers of the nuclear bomb,
Right.
and nukes in general. And that messaging is definitely lost now.
Yeah.
Especially in the newer ones where it's like, Godzilla feeds off radiation, so we should send him some nukes to help power him up so that we can fight on our side and everything. Like now it's very pro weapons. And I think the initial messaging got lost on that for sure. But I think it's entertaining. It's big, dumb fun.
Yeah, and it's action. Yeah, it's good to see. And it is not, like I said, I remember that as one of my childhood memories.
Yeah.
Godzilla. So hopefully we can get kids into it, keep making it PG-13, just make it an action film.
Right.
Just Godzilla being Godzilla.
Make it what it is.
Doing what he's doing,
But that's why, like, I get a lot of criticism from you and from Brent in particular because, like, oh, you just like anything that Hollywood turns out, and it's
You do, dude.
I'm like, when I'm trying to watch a movie or a show, I like to just turn my brain off for a little bit, disconnect from reality and just tune into what's happening on the screen. And if it can do that successfully and entertain me, that's a win. If it's all of a sudden making me think about my life and what I'm doing wrong, and all of a sudden it's dredging up memories from 5 years ago, the whole reason I'm watching is to forget.
Yeah.
So if it's going to make me feel in that it's a moving story, I'm for it. But if it's trying to push into my real life now, that's when I draw a line. But if I'm sufficiently able to tune out, just turn my brain off for a little bit, then that's a victory for me. I think it's doing its job.
Well, I like getting drunk
Yeah.
and watching, those Planet Earth shows and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
The last one came out, it was like Planet Earth 2 or whatever, or Our Planet, whatever, Netflix version of it, their second one. I was like, cool. So I got drunk.
Yeah.
And then I started watching. And it was cool, but then within like 5-10 minutes, it was just like talking about plastic and climate change. I was like, I had to turn it off.
Yeah.
I was like, what a buzzkill, bro. I just want to see animals do animal things. And now you're saying, look how we're fucking up the environment. I'm like, okay, well, I could just read the news if I wanted to see that. I wanted to watch animals and stuff, man. I get it. We're probably going to lose all these animals, but like, let me see them now before we lose them. You know?
There was this video online of just this deer running out across a golf course, getting chased by what looked like a coyote. And this girl's like, maybe they're friends. And you see the coyote just bite it in the neck and take it down and just start going for it.
Nice. I mean, that's nature.
Right.
I mean, what are you going to do?
And yeah, everyone starts screaming, but just the fact, maybe they're friends. It's like how desensitized people are to what's really happening, how brutal the world is. But I went to a place in the Florida Keys. They have, everyone's raving about, you got to go see the turtle hospital, man. Oh, what an experience it was. Like, I'm working at a restaurant, and you ask people how's their day, and they say, oh, we just came from the turtle hospital. Oh, we're having such a great day. And you hear about the turtle hospital constantly. So I go to check it out. I want to learn about some turtles, Right. Why not? So before you can go, I thought it would be like an aquarium type of encounter, the way that everyone says this is, how cool this is. But it's exactly what the name suggests. It's a turtle hospital. So when you first go on tour, which I guess that's how they make their money is by giving people tours, but then they sit you down in a classroom for like 30 minutes and educate you about the microplastics and everything in the ocean. And it's just a bunch of...
Wow. Well, I mean, it's a hospital, dude.
How people are bad. I didn't put the dots together. I thought it was just a name. I didn't know that it was like...
Nice. Good job, man.
Yeah, so... you're getting educated about the microplastics and just how humans are the worst and all of that. And then you get to go take a tour. And again, it's a working hospital. So you're seeing turtles getting like surgery and like all this stuff. And then they take you to their holding tanks out back and you see them with like missing flippers and like some have like cancerous tumor humps kind of a thing. And it's just the most depressing. I'm like, how are you in such a good mood when you go eat and you talk about this place like it's amazing? Because I went there and I don't recommend it to anyone. Like, there's a cool part where you get to feed them.
Every time you go and you're telling people, don't go.
Yeah, like this was a buzzkill. Go to the aquarium if you want a good time. I mean, like, I know about plastics and all that. Like, babies are being born with microplastics.
I was saying, if I wanted to read more, I would just go look. I'm a pretty competent human. If I wanted to look this up, I'd just look it up.
Right.
I know how to use Google other than...
Right. But I just, like I said, I chose to go to the turtle hospital, but I thought it would be more of an aquarium encounter rather than go see all these messed up turtles that they are trying to rescue. And like I said, there's a cool part. You get to, throw some food into this big lake where they let them kind of stretch their flippers out and stuff and swim around a bit. But other than that, it's a really depressing, really sad time to go there.
All right, well, that was a good distraction from this here.
That's...
I'll probably cut that out.
Yeah, that's bleeding into the news side.
Let's get into Disney. It says, which movie? That was the last one. Considering the movie made about $82 million, that means it is over $400 million short to break even at this point. That was Wish. That was the one that came out on Thanksgiving.
Well, I saw a projection of... Disney on the year is set to lose over $1 billion, like $1.4 billion, I think, and Wish is definitely a part of that. Well,
that's why I think they're trying to do what they did the previous year. They have all these promotions to get people to just buy their apps and whatnot. Like I said, I got it for 99 cents. Like, how are they making money doing that? It doesn't make any sense, does it?
They're hoping that once you subscribe, then you can resubscribe.
Yeah, but that's a year from now. Like.
But it adds, if everyone if 1 million people give you $1, you got $1 million. But that's not really going to make much of a dent in $1 billion deficit.
Well, their stock did increase back to $92, but it looks like it's on the downward trend.
Now
but as far as
stock,
just movies in general, like other things in the news, we had talking about Kelsey Grammer. He was on the one of those not cut scenes, the end credit scenes.
Yeah.
I think for the Marvels.
For the Marvels.
And they were introducing X-Men. And he played Beast.
Beast, in the original trilogy.
He was in an interview. He's getting a little bit of backlash. The interviewer asked him, he said, like, you had originally supported Trump in the other election. Do you still support Trump? I don't know why you would ask him that in an entertainment Hollywood movie. And he was just like, he said, I do support Trump, and that's all I have to say about that. Now, that's what the interview said.
Right.
He said a lot more, but that's just the edits and cuts that came out and released.
Okay,
so it was basically either Disney or whatever just telling him shut up, why? But then again, it's like, why would you even have the interviewer ask him that? Or I guess they don't really control what the interviewer asks him.
They
but
tend to.
You would think they control the questions.
They do a pre-screening of what are you going to ask me? This is okay. This is okay. That's not okay.
And again, it's just bringing politics back into entertainment, which is wild.
Yeah, it used to be private.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, why does it matter who I'm voting for?
Yeah.
But people want to know.
You can ask who I pray to, too? Like, what? Yeah. I mean, come on.
So his career is probably going to take another big hit, and he's got that new show Frasier out, which I've heard mixed reviews. I don't think you were a fan.
I couldn't.
But I think Brent said he liked it.
Brent, I think he finished the whole season. He said I couldn't get past episode 1.
Yeah, I didn't even try. I didn't want to ruin what I had already.
Right.
That's another reason why I don't want to see these remakes or reboots or continuations. Just like, I feel like they're just trying to ruin my childhood now, and I'm fucking done with it. I don't want to see it anymore.
I mean, it made sense in the sense of like Dexter. I know we talked about before, and how it didn't have a great ending. So they wanted to ideally give him a better send off than they did the first time around. So trying to get another bite at the apple, I can see that. But to do just a shameless cash grab of, hey, remember this show that was a hit? Now we're back.
Right.
Especially if it's one of those that are just a one-off season. But in the case of, like, Roseanne and The Conners, I think that when did that come back on? 2016, 2017? And it's been it was the number one show on television when it went off the air, and then it comes back 20, 30 years later, and all of a sudden it's the number one show again. When it came back in 2017, it was a hit until she tweeted out some unfortunate things, and then they had to take the show away from her. But that one was still culturally relevant, I think.
I think it got too relevant, though. It was definitely talking about more...
It did lean into politics and stuff.
A little bit more. Which Roseanne did a little bit back in the day, but it was more focused on just
family life.
Their lives.
Right.
Exactly.
Which, now that she stepped away, I haven't tuned into any of the episodes of the new show because they had to retitle it now that she's gone. So now it's called The Conners.
Yeah, once she left, I stopped watching.
Same.
Because it was great. Right?
And they killed her off, too, of all the way. So like, even if she has a redemption arc, you can't bring her back now.
Well, that's not... I was just reading an article about 2.5 Men. You were telling me about that on our other pod, KUI, by the way.
Guardian of the Influence.
Yeah, but apparently they're talking about him possibly returning again under one condition. It was probably just clickbait. I didn't click on it. I didn't even read it. But.
Oh, a revival of 2.5 Men? I don't think it's been off the air long enough to justify a revival.
Well, I don't think that really matters anymore. I think these people can do whatever they want to do. Well, speaking of Roseanne, real quick, Shannon Doherty, I think that...
Shannon Doherty?
Yeah, she said she had brain surgery after finding out her husband was cheating on her.
What does that have to do with Roseanne?
Wasn't she on...
Shannon Doherty was like Charmed or something, but...
She looks like the daughter.
Oh, no, that's not her. That's a different person. That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, Darlene... No,
she looks like Darlene in that
She
photo.
looks like her a little bit.
All right, well, check that out. Anyway.
so Shannon Doherty, she's an actress, so she had to have brain surgery after she found out her husband
was cheating on her. Interesting.
What kind of surgery? Like, to make you forget?
I don't know. I'm not going to click on it.
I mean...
It's all... Because it's HuffPost, Entertainment Tonight, People... I'm not clicking on it.
Is it like... Was it a coincidence and they're just, forgot
like I said,
somewhere?
It's probably just clickbait.
Yeah, that doesn't...
I'm just reading what's trending right now.
Okay.
Like this one. Kim Kardashian and Caitlyn Jenner lose over 850,000 Instagram followers at Balenciaga show. Like, don't care.
Yeah.
They think they should all lose all their followers. Don't follow them. Don't be a Kardashian freak. Let's get back to Disney real quick, though. Ryan Reynolds came out with a statement. Apparently, there's a lot of people that leak a lot of stuff all the time. I guess it's just the world we live in, 2023, with the digital age. So, because they, he wants the stunts to be real live action stunts, not CGI stuff. So you're going to have it in open fields.
Practical effects.
Yeah, you're going to have people with drones now. Like, somebody's going to find a video, somebody's going to leak. It was basically him asking the public, hey, we all love movies. They're very entertaining. I know you want to leak spoilers because you're excited, but, like, let's leave it for the fans. Let's leave it for people going to see it in the theaters to see. It's like, which is, I agree, but you can't stop that. Like, good luck with that, buddy.
Well, the one thing I think that is driving it is, secrecy breeds questioning. So if you're telling me, because whenever there's a movie being made, typically they're pretty open about it. Nobody really cares too much about the behind the scenes stuff or anything like that. But when it comes to Marvel, they're so secretive about their scripts and their plots and everything that all of a sudden, it encourages people to want to look into it more. It's called the Streisand effect, where Barbara Streisand famously tried to sue someone to get a video removed that she didn't want them and the public to see, and in doing so, caused more people to see it. And so when you're trying to hide something, like Disney is trying to keep which is, I understand why they would want to, and it definitely helps build hype. But then you're going to encourage more people to start snooping even harder. But also, I don't know how much credit I would give to that Ryan Reynolds statement, because from what I've heard of the leaks, they were leaked by the studio. That they were too.
Well, maybe he wasn't happy with the studio.
There were set photos being handed out.
Oh, you're just talking about Logan being in his X-Men suit and stuff like that.
There was that one, but there's also it's like in this white, almost not a desert really, but like this void type place. And you see like the 20th Century Fox logo all like in rubble. And so it's leading people to speculate what the plot line of Deadpool 3 might be, which is Deadpool kills the Fox universe, which apparently was a famous comic book run where Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. So they're saying that he's probably going to time travel and kill a bunch of the old Fox, Studios characters and have them fight before coming over to the MCU, and that's why you'd have the logo. And it says like Red Skull's car was seen there, who is a villain in Captain America.
Yeah, I know Red Skull.
So there's a bunch of, and it's all filmed in the same, like the backdrop all looks like it's all in this one location. And from what I saw, the studios were leaking the photos. So I don't think that there's paparazzi on a ridge.
Well, I was going to post the statement, man. I think he made it on X or whatever like that. But I shall just look it up right now.
Yeah. I'd love to hear what he had to say, because, I mean, it's the only Marvel movie coming out next year, so
right,
it's definitely going to attract a lot of attention.
I also heard rumors that because I'm already talking about the next one after that remember Logan... X-Men, Logan, his daughter in that one. They're talking about bringing her to that universe too. But
there's some talk about that. There's talk about Jennifer Garner's Elektra.
Oh yeah, they told. There's a lot of photos leaked.
And
but
that's.
I'm not sure if it's from Disney though. They put the photos released and they added Mickey Mouse in the background.
Oh, did they? I haven't seen that one.
It just looks so stupid.
But they did an interview with Jennifer Garner, who played Elektra in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movies, and she had her own spin-off. And the interviewer asked her, do you ever think did a couple years ago, did you ever think you'd put the Elektra suit back on one last time? And she, in some of the worst acting she's ever done, was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Who?
Jennifer Garner.
Garner, okay. Yeah.
And she's kind of coy, kind of smirking.
Well, first of all, I don't think she's a good actress anyway, so.
Right, but you try a little bit better, even I could fake not knowing. And so, but it was so obvious, all right, so she's going to be in this film somehow as well. And so it's, kind of confirming a lot of the leaks.
What's her new movie? Family Switch, yeah. It looks terrible, bro.
I'd kind of like...
It just came out...
If she wasn't in it and pretended she was, just to raise her profile. Like, if I was an actor in Hollywood, I would do that too.
Well, you think they would learn like a Freaky Friday, right? Was that the one with...
Jamie Lee Curtis?
And
Lindsay Lohan?
Lindsay Lohan. I guess that movie did well, but I thought...
I liked it.
I thought it was dumb. But yeah, so now the whole family switching. Even Ryan Reynolds, he had a movie where he switched lives with his brother.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
It wasn't his brother, but
friends or whatever.
it was called The Change Up, and I really enjoyed that.
It was okay. I didn't really enjoy it, but it wasn't.
It was the first R-rated body swap movie, so there's a lot of profanity, a lot of coarse, crass language.
Yeah. Critics are giving it 46. Audience giving it 46. That's the new one, Family Switch. I don't recommend seeing it. The trailers are cringy. Doesn't look that good. And it's got that guy from, Ed Helms from The Office.
Okay.
You know? But the whole family switches places, and then it gets really weird too because it's a boy and a girl, and then you have a father and a mother.
Right.
They're all
what's it rated?
I'm sure it's just PG or something.
Right, because none of that. That's why I like the R-rated one, because it shows you what people would actually do.
True.
You know, and like if you're all of a sudden, if you switch places with your dad and your mom starts hitting on you, like.
Are
you gonna
some people are talking about there's some weird scenes like that in the new one.
I don't think that if you're PG you could really, even PG-13 I don't think can really go that far with it. You know, I mean, I've talked to people just in everyday life of like...
Well, but it has that girl from Wednesday in it also. She was...
Jenna Ortega?
No, not Ortega. The blonde girl.
Oh, okay, I don't know her name, but I do know who you're referring to. The roommate?
Yeah, her roommate, yeah. Unless I'm getting that wrong, too.
I've talked to dudes before, and it's like...
Emma Myers.
And girls, where it's like, if you were to switch... If you're switching your gender for a day...
Yeah, we don't have to say it. We all know. We all know.
And everybody knows what they would do.
Exactly.
The answer's the
PG.
same.
The movie's PG.
Yeah.
So. I think it's going to do bad. Let's see what the box office has for it right now. Right now, the reviews are both below 50. Box office numbers.
I haven't even seen it advertised or even heard of it until just now.
It might not even be out yet. I'm not seeing any box office numbers on it.
I've heard, for the most part, those, besides Freaky Friday, the Lindsay Lohan one, those are typically pretty bad movies. And one of the ones I heard that actually received good reviews...
No, it came out November 30th. Oh,
it's already out?
It's on Netflix, that's why.
Oh, okay.
That's why you're not going to see box office.
There was a... what was his name? Vince Vaughn had a movie come out where he switched bodies with a girl, but he was a serial killer.
Whoa.
And so she all of a sudden is in the body of a serial killer, and he's in the body of a teenage girl. What is that like? And I heard that one was interesting, and that it actually was done really well, because like when you have, what was it, The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider, where it's just a guy doing
Freaky.
a really...
Yeah, I think I remember when that came out, yeah.
Yeah, Freaky. I heard that...
2020.
But to have like Vince Vaughn doing a really bad girl impression is almost offensive sometimes, you know, like... So I feel like in this one, if it's just him talking in his normal voice, like just because you have a girl switching brains with you doesn't mean suddenly you're going to talk in a girl voice like...
How would you know, Aaron?
It's never happened to you? But, so, like, you'd still talk the same, though. It'd still be your voice. So I feel like if...
I don't know, the brain controls a lot of speech.
If they want to do it... I mean, you might pick up certain affectations and you might, you know, speech patterns, but to all of a sudden try and make your voice sound more feminine... Oh, I'm just a little girl now.
Yeah,
like
that's kind of dumb.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Anyway, back to Disney real quick. The Marvels opening November 10th with $46 million domestic to land the worst debut in MCU history. I
heard they're not releasing any more of their box office numbers. They've given up. They said,
they're done.
We got an idea of what they're at, and we don't need to release any more. Thank you guys for your comments and your criticisms.
Yeah. You're like, we get it. We're But yeah, so I'm sure won some awards. Yeah, I'm sure Brie Larson's gonna be taking it very serious. I'm sure she'd be crying about it later on. So.
I liked her in the Marvels. Actually, I thought she did better in the second one than she did in her original one.
You don't like her. She's not even that good of an actress, dude.
I thought she did better in this one than she did in the first. I think her character was better.
Oh, that's right. You saw it. I didn't even see it.
The first one, she was so cocky and confident, and she was already there was nothing to develop.
First one is in the
Captain Marvel,
so not the Avengers or whatever.
No, it was she was an ace fighter pilot, so right away, you got to have kind of an ego to yourself there. And then she gets in an accident, loses her memory, and then she becomes a fighter. And this is Captain Marvel in an alien army, and she's one of their number one fighters as well. So she's just cocky, confident, ready to go, out of the box, badass. No need to improve on anything. Doesn't listen to Samuel L. Jackson. She's smug and smarmy and smirky and all those things, all those S words. But in this one, she's more vulnerable. She's more open and accessible. I feel like she's not so out of the box, ready to go type of a fighter.
Well, I mean, she was splitting a main lead with two other characters,
right? But I mean, the personality style was more open to being warm and welcoming, and kind of, she had flaws. Whereas in the first one, she just came out seeming perfect.
Well, yeah, she was like, she could do anything and everything.
Yeah,
it was just
can't nobody tell me nothing.
Exactly.
Whereas in this one, like I said, that's why I liked her character more, because she was more flawed. But yeah, people are talking about the problem with the movie, besides all the other stuff, is that when you have that Superman type who can do anything and is invincible, where do you go from there? And so one of the premises in the Marvels is that anytime they use their powers, they swap places with each other.
Right.
And so that's how they're trying to nuke her powers, so that she's not so overpowered all the time, because otherwise she would just beat anybody in a straight up fight. So then anytime she uses her powers, she's switching with someone else, and so she's not even in that same fight anymore. So
that's the one they're pushing the show for, right? Well, at least they were. I think they canceled her show.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Miss Marvel's girl, yeah.
Miss Marvel, she did have a show. I liked her show. It was okay. I
think they canceled it.
Wasn't the worst, but season 1 was all right.
What's going on with She-Hulk, man? Are they doing a season 2? I keep hearing mixed.
I heard it got greenlit, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I heard it got greenlit, and then I heard it got a huge backlash, and then they're like, okay, we're not doing it anymore. And it's just like, what? Are you or aren't you? It said, well, this is Inside the Magic. I don't trust them. Let's see what else we got. So this is CBR rumor. It says rumor that they plan it, but that was in August. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, they made her. I mean, that's the thing they keep doing when they're doing a female.
I thought she was a good actress, though.
Oh yeah, I don't mind that, and I think she's pretty good looking too, so that helps. But
she's easy on the eyes, but she's kind of a. But
I haven't seen her interviews or anything.
I'm just gonna edit this anyway. She's a dude.
Yeah, okay.
She's terrible, but I mean, she's very hot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna edit that out. So, all right, there you go. When
they do a female-led thing, they tend to give them too many powers, and they make them too good. So, like in She-Hulk. She Hulk had to spend years, Bruce Banner, of how to control him and how to merge with the Hulk and become simpatico, and she gets it in just a couple of minutes in a montage. She knows how to do it all. She's good. She beats the Hulk in a fight.
Yeah, she beats the Hulk in the fight. Yeah, exactly.
What's going on here?
Yeah, she's the best, man. Well, again, they're setting up the new Avengers because they canceled not Captain Marvel, was it?
Captain America?
Yeah, I think,
Brave New World?
Yeah, I think they can't. Well, I
haven't heard anything about cancellation.
Pushed it back, or
they might have. They delayed everything.
Yeah,
for next
right
year.
now. Well, everything's still. The only thing confirmed for next year would be
Deadpool 3.
But that doesn't mean it's all canceled out there. I think because they don't even sure.
I don't think canceled, just postponed. They want to rewrite the scripts and get everything back. But when you look at
season 2 of Miss Marvel's is still not confirmed.
All the females that they're doing, they want to do away with the damsel in distress. I get that, but you can still make them human characters without being, beast mode tech geniuses that are, amazing at everything. You got to give them some built-in flaws, and most of them don't. They're just like, what's wrong with a strong female?
Right.
I've met plenty of strong females. They're great, but they also have flaws too. They're human still.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you're a superhero, you'd still be a human. And so when you see, they're setting up the young Avengers. And a lot of them are females, and all of them are tech geniuses and really good at.
Oh, that's right. So they didn't cancel Captain America. They had to basically rewrite the whole thing, though.
Right.
And they pushed it back again, and I think they even had to change its name. Like, it didn't always used to be Brave New World. But, yeah, so that one looks like that one's still going on. And it's that Mackie guy. They love him, so they'll probably push that movie
Well, he's
forward.
the new Captain America.
Exactly. So if you were to do another Avengers, you're going to need a Captain America.
Right.
Who it is. Obviously, this is your go-to guy.
Well, they had
the
the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, which sets up Anthony Mackie as the new Captain America. But it's a show that not many people watch. So when it goes to the movies and you're just like, hey, I'm Captain America now, a lot of people are going to wonder what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
But also in that one, they set up a Dark Avengers where there was, the government was trying to fill the gap, fill the void that was left by Captain America leaving by putting this other guy in. And, they say, like, the serum just brings out more of who you already are.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Rogers was a good guy. He became a good Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
So when you give it to someone who's a little more corrupt, a little more willing to bend the rules a bit, all of a sudden you get this guy who's looks a lot like Captain America, but is morally kind of bankrupt. And then they have Elaine from Friends. She's basically playing a character that's setting up kind of a dark Avengers of...
Who from Friends?
Elaine, the girl from Seinfeld, I'm sorry.
I was like, wait, what? Yeah, Dreyfus.
Seinfeld. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, yeah. She's setting up basically Avengers that's going to be controlled more by the government, meaning they can do more corrupt kind of things.
Okay, well, I'm done with Disney. I just have those two talking points on Angelina Jolie and Natalie Portman. If you want to get into that, or do you have something else you want to talk about?
No, I hadn't heard anything about either of them.
So, yeah, this one's more recent. Angelina Jolie, she recently came out saying... This was a quote or whatever. It says, Angelina Jolie says she wouldn't be an actress today and plans to leave Hollywood. So she's out. She's leaving LA. She's done with it. She calls it a shallow place. Okay, well.
Oh,
Huh?
I think it always has been.
Exactly. These are things we already knew and things she probably already knew too, but the money was probably good or whatever. I don't know. Maybe she's getting older and she just realized, this isn't a place I want to be anymore.
Well, so she's saying if she were to start out as an actress from scratch, she goes, Hollywood isn't, I wouldn't want to do it if I was a kid today.
She said the basically the Hollywood today is not the Hollywood that it was. She said, I wouldn't be an actress, Jolie said. When I started out, it wasn't as much of an expectation to be as public. Mm-hmm. So that's probably a part of it too. Yeah, you get these Hollywood actors or whatever, and people treat them as heroes. They treat them almost gods, They just idolize the fuck out of them.
But the paparazzi, like, you could get a photo in a magazine or something, and that was all the access you would have to that celebrity back in Angelina Jolie's day, back in the 90s and stuff. Now everything's on the internet.
Yeah.
So, like, when you would have... Johnny Depp used to own the Viper Room in LA, and that's a place where celebrities could go and let their guard down, and they would do a bunch of drugs and alcohol, but they wouldn't be harassed by paparazzi or the press or anything like that, and you could just be a bunch of stars. And then River Phoenix passed away of an overdose at the club. I guess someone slipped him something.
Yeah, I think I remember.
And that kind of was the downfall of it. And Johnny Depp sold it up. But then there was no more, like, public hangout, because then the internet comes along. Everyone has a cell phone, and if you're drunk in public doing something stupid, it's going to get on film. And so now I think they have more Hollywood parties are at someone's house now, as opposed to a club.
And then they probably have them check all your electronic devices at the door.
Right.
They're going to do some...
They have bags that, you put your phone in with a number on it, kind of like a coat check.
Exactly.
But
don't worry, we'll give you a new phone when the party's over.
Yeah, you get a swag bag.
The other thing, Natalie Portman, this was a couple weeks ago, I want to say. No, this was last week also. It says she came out also, and she said, the title, it says, Natalie Portman doesn't think any children should work in Hollywood. Her quote was, it was luck that I was not harmed. That's some pretty bold claims there.
Well, I find it interesting that these claims are being made now, when they're trying to clean house. After the Me Too movement, after they're trying to get rid of all the offenders and all the bad people, they're still saying, like, this place is still the worst. But you weren't saying in 2016 when, that stuff was rampant.
But maybe they couldn't.
You could still say, I don't like Hollywood, it's a terrible place.
Yeah, but think about it, that was 7 years ago. She would have been cut out of Thor. She had said stuff like that, you know?
She wanted to be out of Thor. She only came back because...
Money?
Well, she only agreed to the second one because of Patty Jenkins, the director. She wanted to work with her.
Oh, okay.
And then the director was fired, and she's like, well, now I'm tethered to this movie. Patty Jenkins, by the way, is the girl that directed Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984.
Right.
And Natalie Portman really wanted to work with her, and then the director was gone, and she's like, now I'm tied to this movie that I don't want to be a part of anymore. And so she didn't want to come back. So Thor Ragnarok, there's a reason she wasn't in that. But then in Love and Thunder... they explained the character and all that, and she liked Taika Waititi, and she was more willing to come back after all that time. But yeah, she didn't want to do the original Thor.
The quote is, I feel it was almost an accident of luck that I was not harmed. Also combined with very overprotective, wonderful parents, she explained. And then the last quote is, you don't like it when you're a kid, but you're grateful when you're an adult. So... maybe she's just, like I said, wisdom, age, time, I don't know. Maybe she's just starting to look back and realize, holy shit, like, I got real lucky that something bad didn't happen to me in that industry. Like, even looking at Millie Bobby Brown. Yeah. she came out in an interview, too. She was just talking about how it was discussing how they were over-sexualizing
the second she turned 18, they treated her like Hermione, like Emma Watson.
But yeah. Then they still continue to do this business. They still continue to do this, you know?
Well, that's part of why, like, Billie Eilish was very aware that she wore baggy clothes specifically.
Mad
so
respect
don't
for her.
Look at my body and all that.
Yeah.
And she just
hard to hide those things. Good. Yeah.
She just came out of the closet recently. Did you hear that?
Well, I didn't even read the article, but she was like, I thought everybody knew.
Yeah,
like, okay, I already knew what she was talking about. But, like, I think I didn't already know.
I didn't.
Just because her music is very out there, very weird, and it's very, like, I don't know. It was kind of obvious. I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even read the article. And I was like, I already know what you're talking about, and I already knew. Like, I was just like, it's just a Gen Z thing, you know?
That's what I was going to say. Is it trendy to just be that?
I'm not saying, she obviously is, or isn't, or whatever she is, but is it trendy? It's definitely trendy.
Yeah.
Is that why? I don't know. I just know that it totally makes sense that she would be.
Well, I mean, but then it kind of comes to nature versus nurture. You know, are you born that way? And if so, more power to you. Or is it, society is saying, well, everybody is, so you are too. And you're like, well, I guess I am too.
Right. Well, yeah, there was a chart of Bill Maher. He had the chart as like, people identifying as that. And isn't
it interesting? It's mostly on the coast and in the cities is where you find most. And then.
Well, I was reading articles too about just being, having liberal conservative parents, the percentage of their children that turn out to be part of that
culture.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very interesting read. Good numbers.
Yeah,
I like the numbers, man. I'm a numbers guy. Blur man Gus.
I mean, numbers don't lie, but I think they can be manipulated. So I don't always trust.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't take it to heart. That's why I'm not even signing it or preaching it. I'm just saying.
Right.
It was an opinion. It was an opinion article. And I thought it made sense. But
Have you heard of? Have you seen the movie The Truman Show with Jim Carrey?
Yeah, of course.
Because talking about actors that are done with Hollywood, he's retired from Hollywood. Mm-hmm. He does paintings or something now, but there's a psychological condition that came out of that movie now, like in proper psychiatric
I've heard about it, but yeah, I don't really know.
It's called Truman Show syndrome.
Yeah, okay.
And it's basically this paranoid delusion that your life is being televised, and so it's basically, so it's like if you already thought someone's watching me,
right?
Then this movie comes out where this guy's being watched all the time by camera, and so now people are kind of getting that sort of delusion of, I'm always being watched. My life's a reality show, basically, and it's a proper condition, and. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know if I'm paranoid.
Maybe aliens are watching you.
Well, I was thinking if you're in Russia, it's the KGB. So you are.
I mean, the government is listening right now to this, and they can off. So, I mean, that's where we're at right now.
Well, that's what was leading me to the next thing was I was watching Animaniacs to fall asleep.
Oh, boy.
And
that show got wild, dude.
It did, especially the revival.
With stuff you wouldn't even... Because we were so young when that show came out.
Yeah, but there's a revival now. They're back on air on Hulu.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was...
And now it's... I mean, it's a lot of more adult
I'm going to watch them now that I have Hulu.
Now, there's a lot more adult references to it now.
Well, there was always...
Right. I was just too young to get it at the time.
Yeah.
But one of them I saw was basically they accidentally deleted something off of their server, and they're like, it's okay, the NSA is always watching.
Oh,
so then they break into the NSA to try and get their files back, because they're like, I know the NSA has everything already. And I'm like, wow, like this is
happening?
in a kid's show. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's not labeled a kid's show anymore.
I don't know what I mean, it's got to be at least PG.
Because it would be on, if anybody's streaming, it would be HBO.
It's Hulu.
Because it was Warner Brother, I thought.
Yeah.
So why would Hulu...
They might have sold the rights. But it definitely says a Hulu presentation or a Hulu original at the beginning of it.
Well, the new one, obviously.
The new one, yeah.
Because, obviously, like, Futurama was a Fox show, but now Disney, Hulu owned it. But
the fact that,
But it was definitely a Warner Brothers show, yeah.
Kids' animated show, they're teaching kids, like, oh, the NSA's already listening to you guys, so...
Good, teach me young.
Yeah, it just seemed wild.
That's funny. Animaniacs, that was a great show. I was definitely not allowed to watch that as a kid.
Really?
No, dude. Yeah, my parents were like, hell no, you can't watch this. Yeah.
Pinky and the Brain, you missed all of it?
No, well, we weren't really allowed to watch Cartoon Network, really.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we had to sneak all that stuff when we were watching. Like Batman original series.
Yeah.
I caught a couple episodes, just at other friends' houses.
It's a great show.
I love that show. I still love it today. I still watch that show. I own the Blu-ray,
Well, your mom would also say, like, the spells in Harry Potter are real spells. Like,
there are a lot of people that believe that those Harry Potters are actually Wiccan guidelines, to follow.
Oh, maybe it wasn't her, but yeah, it was definitely, there's a lot of talk.
That's proven. Not, my mom was like that, but there's a lot maybe of people. It's fear-mongering articles, I don't know, but I do believe there are people that believe in that stuff and definitely use it. I think the Harry Potter was just like J.K. Rowling or whatever. She was just making to entertain people.
She wrote it to entertain a kid, and then it just kind of went off onto something else. Yeah, like one of the curses that Voldemort uses, he basically says abracadabra, but just like with a slant to it. And it's like, that's not... How are people finding that to be a spell of the pagan or something?
Well, I don't think the word is necessarily... You're focusing too much on... The point is that spell was to kill somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not very... that sounds very pagan,
I mean...
Let's create a spell to kill somebody, Aaron. Like, is that very, it's not Jewish. It's not Christian.
We're leaning into the Bible a bit here now.
Well, I'm just saying, if it was to be any religion, what would it be? Well, Wiccan sounds pretty up there.
I mean, the Ark of the Covenant killed people.
In a movie?
In the book.
Oh yeah, what people did?
If you weren't the high priest and you went into the Holy of Holies without wearing a special protective armor,
it was surrounded by.
It would kill you.
Inside a 10, or whatever. It was holy ground.
Because there was a spell on it.
Well,
that would kill you.
I don't think it's a spell, but
the Lord enchanted it.
I don't think
you wouldn't even call it an enchantment.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right word. But I mean, like.
Well, this is completely off topic. It's fine to cut it, but there's a rumor or not a rumor, but a theory that it was nuclear radiation.
I can see that. Yeah.
And so when you take an X-ray at the doctor, they put a chest plate on you so that the radiation doesn't get you, besides where they want it to. Yeah. And so the theory goes that that's what the priests would wear, is basically something made out of lead, and that would allow them to get close to the Ark of the Covenant, because it was nuclear radiation, and when they describe like how like the flesh would melt away and your teeth would fall out, like that's describing radiation poisoning. Mm-hmm. And so some people think that might have been some type of radioactive weapon.
Interesting theory.
Yeah. There's a guy in Ethiopia I really want to go. It's a small church, and they claim to have the Ark of the Covenant at this church. There's only one guy there that guards it with his life. He's got a short lifespan because, I mean, he's going blind. He's got cataracts. He's falling apart, and they're saying like that could be radiation poisoning too. And then once he dies, they bring another. They don't let anyone in from the outside world. It's a very private tribe. So like the fact that there's pictures of this church, you can look it up online and stuff too. It's really fascinating because I just want to know. Like that's my main thing.
That's our problem. And knowledge, it can be a good thing, but it can be a bad thing.
Well, if you bite the apple from the tree of knowledge, it's because you want to know.
Right.
And so from then on, we've all been curious people.
But they bit the apple because they were tricked into it. Not necessarily because they wanted to know, but he was basically trying to say, hey man, God thinks he's better than you. You don't need God. Just eat this, and then you don't need him anymore. You can just have all the knowledge right here. Do you want to know because you're being tricked into wanting to know, or do you want to know just because that's a drive, that's a goal of yours, you just want to know?
The quest for knowledge is, I think, something that I didn't have early on.
Definitely didn't have, but I was too focused on drugs and women.
Yeah, going to school and stuff like that wasn't an issue. You know, skip it. Yeah. Go have fun, play video games, hang out. And then the older I get, the more I want to know everything. Mm-hmm. So, like, if I had the powers of, like, teleportation, I would want to teleport in, take a look around, teleport out.
Yeah, you know, what's going on here, Morlago?
Take a snap for the gram.
Wow, that's a lot of documents.
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, the quest for knowledge is why we have our next episode, and hopefully you guys can join us over on our news episode, Why We News. This was Why We Media. We're finishing it up. We did almost an hour, about an hour. And I think next week I want to do like some Christmas movies, Christmas episode, a little bit more light.
Okay.
We'll definitely talk about current news going on in media, but I want to talk about our favorite Christmas movies and, what we liked about it. But yeah, that's all we got for Why We Media today. I hope you enjoyed it.
It went full circle though, okay? So why people are spying on Deadpool 3? Curiosity, quest for knowledge. People want to know.
Interesting. That's
right all the way around. We'll bow on it.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add? Oh, yeah.
Nah.
Like, subscribe, comment, whatever.
Follow us on Rumble.
Follow us on Rumble. We just put up that page. And we're going to, I'm going to put everything on Blurman anyway. I'm not doing another channel. Let's just do it, guys. Just keep adding, keep liking, keep subscribing. And what else?
Yeah, just follow us on Why We News next.
Yeah, that, and follow our other one, KUI, Carding Under the Influence. Join us there. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.